So morning, everyone. Both those who are joining live and those who are listening to the recording later. It's lovely to have you here and to have your energy with me, with us all, on this Wednesday, the 17th of July. And it's been quite an interesting time. Shadow, sorry, our little pup is growling. Yeah, it's nice to be back. We were away just last week. It was a lovely special family time just to sneak in sort of a week's holiday. But as I was preparing for this, I listened to Pam Gregory's latest update, which she actually did earlier than normal. So for those who've been here a while, you'll know that Pam Gregory is an astrologer that I came across during COVID times. Come from very Christian background. So when we were growing up, astrology was something that was very not okay, very, but it was something that in COVID times really brought me a lot of comfort because I started to understand. So I'd go out every morning and evening, taking our little dog Shadow out for a wee and see the stars and the movement of the stars. And I became more interested in it like that. And also obviously with my feminine wisdom course that I teach, I show how closely our women's bodies are connected to the cycles of nature, whether we're menstruating or not. But if we are menstruating, often we'll menstruate on the full moon or the new moon, and that energy of the heightened energy of the full moon or the darker energy of the new moon often corresponds with our symptoms and how we're feeling in our bodies and the energy in our bodies. So there's so much more to say in that, but interestingly, actually Dom, who introduced me to the doTERRA oils, did such a lovely class on hormones last night and brought that in a little bit around, she talked a bit more about the energy of our cycles. So if anyone, and that's Sue, I know you've got such an interest in menopause as well. So when the recording comes out, I mean, I must say I love the class, and I've obviously been to a lot of essential oil classes in my time. It's well worth listening to. It was lovely. Anyway, but we are building to a full moon on Sunday, the 21st of July. So there's a sort of increasing energy. But I went back and I listened to Pam Gregory's latest video, and she was doing it early because she said that there's a very, very big energy between the 6th of July and the 24th of July, and especially over the 14th to the 16th of July. And I just thought I'd share this with you because it has been what she talked about has actually come to pass. And as she says here, I've just got the transcript. You can actually on YouTube videos, you can always click on the transcript, which is actually so nice to scroll through. But she said somewhere here that as an astrologer, she doesn't know what's going to happen. Yeah. It's not, I never as an astrologer know the exact events. I never do, but all I'm able to do is describe the timing and the quality of the energy. And it's very distinct at this time, and it's likely to rumble on. And she said between the 14th and 16th of July, there's a conjunction between Mars and Uranus and a fixed star called Algol. And mid-July is very important. There's some sort of seismic activity. She said literal earthquakes, whether that's political or financial earthquakes. And it's too much of what she said to go into here. But obviously on the 16th of July was Trump's assassination attempt, which was a very significant political activity. And then on Monday, so there's a lot around that. And she just said it's an eruptive, explosive, combustible energy, like fireworks, like lighting the touch paper on something. So it's a very unexpected energy. And Algol is actually the fixed star, is connected in myth to people losing their heads. So I'm just going to read just a few lines of this transcript. She says, sorry, here, 6:45. It's a very unstable energy, and it could be linked to leaders losing their power. And I think this is particularly likely at this time. And just a reminder to you again, and obviously we've also had the French elections and everything, that this is conjunct in the midheaven of Donald Trump's chart. Midheaven in an individual's chart is linked to their status or their reputation. and this conjunction brings out some kind of radical shift or change or surprise. To that, I understand anyway, she said, I understand there's a legal course. She says, I don't stay close to the news, but just so interesting that this was sort of in the stars, which I didn't know exactly, but the energy is there. And at the end of her, I always love, if I can't listen to her whole transcripts, which I often can't, but at the end, she always does a lovely bringing together, and she talks about staying on our eagle's perch. So she's often talked about staying on that eagle's perch, sort of looking down, not getting too involved in what's going on in the 3D world, and avoiding the polarity of I'm right, you're wrong, that the divisiveness and sort of getting stuck in the fear and the anxiety, because she talks about, like, it's a little bit like taking off on a plane when there's lots of turbulent energy, and we feel the turbulence and we see the turbulence when we're taking off, but when we get above the clouds, we can see it feels much calmer. And so for us to be sort of above the clouds, and if we can stay in the frequency of love, we can magnetize the right people and situations, and we'll, as the law of physics says, the law of attraction, when we stay in that frequency of love, we'll see more love. When we stay in a frequency of fear and anxiety and polarity, that's what we draw to us. So she talks about starving out the scary and loving in the good, and trying not to give our energy to fear or panic or anger or anything we don't want to see more of. So it made me reflect on, I think I quite often have an energy of just, there's never enough time and there's just so much to do, and it's just made me conscious of what energy I'm keeping myself in, or what the story is I'm telling myself. So she said that on her morning walk, she has she's adopted a recent mantra, where she just says, I'm breathing in love, I'm breathing out love, I'm breathing in love, I'm breathing out love. And she said it's just very soothing and calming, especially at this, what she calls jazzed up time. Astrologically, it's such a jazzed up, like interference on a TV. It's that sort of very scattered time. She talks about that despite what's happening in this sort of 3D world, that the energy of love is more palpable more than ever. And so another one of her mantras is, we're welcoming in an expanded consciousness of love. We're welcoming in an expanded consciousness of love. So I'll share those on our group later. If anyone wants to join the Mindful Moments group, I'll post the poems there and just reminders. And so it leads quite beautifully onto, sorry, we've got shadow in the distance, but this is what mindfulness is about, accepting what is and drawing in the frequency of what we want. And so a beautiful book by Julia Fehrenbacher. She's a poet and she does these ebooks you can download off her website. And she's got her instructions for today. I'm just going to open the door for shadow so just take a few moments to settle and he's running the other way. Okay. Yeah, he's run outside. So I invite you just to take a few deep breaths. If you have got an oil with you that you want to use, I've got balance today, to just put a drop in your hands and take a few breaths to settle you, or put some frankincense on your palate. And just allow these words to settle. Instructions for today. Sit and listen to a tree for longer than feels appropriate. Close eyes until the hurting demands settle, until only the invisible speaks. Ask yourself the same questions you've been asking everyone else. Be still until you hear the answers. Trust me, they will come. Tell the truth, the one that has simmered and boiled inside you. It is yours. No one can shape it or take it. When words fall out, notice how sure and steady your feet feel on the ground. It is meant to be this way. Remember, there is no promise of tomorrow. Let this truth live inside you. until you can't help but turn towards love. You are not a victim. You are a truth-telling warrior who gets up again and again and again, who stands in the middle of the mess and says, I don't know, but I'm ready to listen. Then open your eyes and head on home. So I'll read that one more time as we settle into our meditation. Instructions for today. Sit and listen for to a tree for longer than feels appropriate. Close eyes until the hurting demands settle, until only the invisible speaks. Ask yourself the same questions you've been asking everyone else. Be still until you hear the answers. Trust me, they will come. Tell the truth, the one that has simmered and boiled inside you. It is yours. No one can shape it or take it. When words fall out, notice how sure and steady your feet feel on the ground. It is meant to be this way. Remember, there's no promise of tomorrow. Let this truth live inside you until you can't help but turn towards love. You are not a victim. You are a truth-telling warrior who gets up again and again and again, who stands in the middle of the mess and says, I don't know, but I'm ready to listen. Then open your eyes and head on home. So just in this moment, taking a few breaths as these words settle into our bodies. Noticing feet on floor, seat in chair. Inviting a expanded awareness into your body. Slowly opening up torso, shoulders, neck, head up towards the heavens. So we assume a posture that's awake and alert, but relaxed. A posture of upright dignity. Uplifted, but grounded and rooted. Sensing how it feels in your body to be both grounded and rooted, and expanded and open. Just gently and in your own time, traveling through your body, noticing sensation, pressure, touch, breath. Just allowing yourself to settle into this moment, sitting and listening for longer than feels appropriate. closing our eyes until the hurting demands settle, until only the invisible speaks. And then settling into this place of breath, this place of life force energy. Noticing how it continues without our control. And just noticing how your breath sits today in your nose or throat or chest or belly. And then perhaps inviting a gentle softening or slowing of breath or settling, inviting it into the depths of your belly, to the depths of your being. Breathing in love, breathing out love. When your thoughts start to wander, drift off into the future worries or concerns or planning or past longings or regrets, just taking a moment to notice that they've drifted off and to come back to the breath wherever it anchors you. I breathe in love. I breathe out love. Settling into our heart space and noticing if this feeling of love has a color, a texture, sensation, a weight. Perhaps it shimmers, perhaps it feels strong. Just noticing the sensation in your heart space. And just allowing that sensation to expand. As from the heart, blood is pumped out, oxygenated blood is pumped out through the arteries, to the arterioles, to the capillaries that wrap around every hair in our body. So allowing this love to expand through our arteries, our arterioles, into our capillaries that wrap around every hair in our body, so that we feel a sensation through our entire body, shimmering on the skin, expanding even beyond our bodies. Like an aura around us that touches anyone who we come into contact with. We are welcoming in an expanded consciousness of love. Sitting in this expanded consciousness. Instructions for today. Sit and listen to a tree for longer than feels appropriate. Close eyes until the hurting demands settle, until only the invisible speaks. Ask yourself the same questions you've been asking everyone else. Be still until you hear the answers. Trust me, they will come. Tell the truth, the one that has simmered and boiled inside you. It is yours. No one can shape it or take it. When words fall out, notice how sure and steady your feet feel on the ground. It is meant to be this way. Remember, there is no promise of tomorrow. Let this truth live inside you until you can't help to turn towards love. You are not a victim. You are a truth-telling warrior who gets up again and again and again, who stands in the middle of the mess and says, I don't know, but I'm ready to listen. Then open your eyes and head on home. So when you're ready, just taking a few last breaths, perhaps rubbing fingers, getting warmth to fingertips, moving toes, rolling shoulders. That's even rubbing hands together and resting them on your heart space for a few last deep breaths. As we breathe in love, as we breathe out love. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes, taking in the colors, the lights, sunshine around you, taking in the names and spaces in this, names and faces in this group. Thank you for being here today. And please feel free also to share this with anyone else that you feel may enjoy it as we expand our consciousness of love. Please feel free to unmute or put anything in the chat and just share if something came up from you or for you or something you want to share. The morning star this morning was, in fact, Jupiter in the slight northeast. Jupiter is in Taurus together with Uranus and Mars. Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah, I always have to share. I always get a heightened awareness of my senses after your sessions. The happiness and the calmness in my body was beautiful, and I could just hear the waves, because as you know, I'm right here by the sea, and I could just hear the waves in the background while I was doing the breathing in and out. It was beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gail. Yeah, it's just, I think that's so poignant. I'm actually preparing for a woman's workshop, and also really encouraging us these moments tap into our sensuality. We all think about that as something that's a sexuality thing, which it can be, but our sensuality is just being in our bodies, in our senses. It's such like a sensual experience, being alive, being full in our senses. Thank you for sharing that.
There's a big fat woman's book, Nikki. I presume that you've read it before. It's
Woman's Bodies, Woman's Wisdom. That one.
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, yeah, I've shared that so much. That's what I base a lot of my stuff on. My mum introduced me to it many years ago. We even went to go and see Christiane Northrup in the US.
Oh, wow.
Conferences. Yeah, we love that. I love that book. I actually share it with us. In fact, mine is loaned out at the moment. Or maybe, yeah, maybe it's back. Yeah, I love it. Thank you. And so anyone who doesn't know it, it's called Woman's Bodies, Woman's Wisdom by Dr. Christiane Northrup. She's got a whole series, but that one's sort of a kind of a Bible of women's health, but bringing in the physical and emotional and supplements and like medical approach and like holistic approach to health. So it really is. In fact, it was Heather. Now I've just seen Heather's name. I suggested to Heather to get it because there's a whole section. Also, Heather's pregnant, and there's a whole beautiful pregnancy section and postpartum section, and talks you through different phases of a woman's life and different things that can happen in a body, everything from fibroids to cysts to endometriosis to navigating different menopause as well. There is a menopause section. She has got more menopause books, but yeah, so thank you, Gail, for bringing that up. I think that's very, Mother Daughter Wisdom is also another book, beautiful book she's got. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your lovely comments. Yeah, I'll post the I'll post the affirmations or the mantras on our group as well as a reminder, so we can always refer back to them. And I'll post this poem. Sometimes I have a chance to look at poems, and sometimes it just comes in the morning. So that was this morning. Thank you all. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you, Karika. Yeah, sending you all love and wishing you a blessed day.
Thanks, Nikki. You too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Lovely to to have you all joining live, and those who join later, I hope you enjoy it. Bye.